Yeah.
And I'm guessing that maybe what would help you listen is some reassurance that nothing means you have to stop acting.
Right. That's it.
That's probably the fear, that
Yes.
if you listen to the despair, you will stop acting.
Right.
And so what I want to say about that is that the despair holds inside of it a lot of care. It might even be a larger field of care than you are even holding right now. So let's see what happens. Does that make it a little more appealing?
Okay. So what? Just try to understand what's going on for the despair. It sounds like you're just feeling really hopeless and overwhelmed.
Yeah, I'm really sad about the situation and just not knowing what to do.
So
try to focus on, what do you imagine this voice cares about? What's the big passion at the heart of that? It shouldn't be hard to find because it's you.
yeah, it's caring for the earth and for all of life.
Yeah. And really wanting to like make a positive impact. And when I see my plastic wrapper in the trash, with everybody else's, and I don't have a sense of how to not have that plastic wrapper be in the trash, I just feel so sad about that. I really want to make a positive difference, and I don't know how, because it just feels so big.
So just not knowing how. And
so when you're listening to despair, which I would urge activists to do with and for each other as much as possible, just so that all that energy is released and opened up to find the care, what is needed is to first make room for the despair to just be, and really vigilantly look for what's the dream in the name of which the despair is kind of like sitting there. What's the fundamental dream that you're hearing here? And keep reflecting that.
That we can figure out some way to turn this around, I guess, that we can think of something that we could do that would really help the earth.
Yeah, like really help.
Yeah.
And you see that in this, as you hear that, that's exactly what you want.
Exactly, yeah.
And so instead of having to put so much energy into fending it off and like putting it down and capping it and putting a lid on it, you can actually have all this energy mobilized into what you're trying to do.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
I guess I want to check in with this part and see, are you feeling more mobilized, actually?
More mobilized? I mean, I feel heard. And I feel more connected to you.
Yeah, it's not there yet.
Okay.
It happens when you give it time. All of these things. I mean, the same thing happened, like in the interview with Michael. The same thing comes up. You sow seeds. The change doesn't happen overnight. The overnight change doesn't stick. And it's you create systems and foundations that allow for things to build over time. And right now you're building a relationship that will let this aspect of you relax a little because it's heard. Anything that's heard relaxes. Is that true? Are you feeling a little more relaxed?
Yeah, totally. And more present and more open. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if now you can try to hear what this one has to say.
I do. I feel open to that. I'm curious, actually.
Yeah, I just feel the passion and the desire to search, to just not rest until we figure out some action.
Like you really want to do something.
Yeah. And not get discouraged.
Is it like you're afraid of getting discouraged because you so much want to act so that you can actually make an impact?
Yeah, I want to keep the faith or something, keep my passion alive.
I'm also wondering one more thing. Is it okay if I step in here? I'm getting a sense that you're willing to take action even if you don't know 100% for sure that it will have an effect, just to try things out.
Just to do something.
And so the fear is that, all this despair about, nothing is going to work, you're not going to do anything, and you would rather do something even if it's not the perfect thing.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And how do you feel about that?
It wouldn't be my approach.
Yeah.
But there's something a little exciting actually about that. Like, we don't have to do it right. We just want to do something.
I want to check in with Joseph because we have only a few minutes before the wrap-up of the show. And Joseph, I'm curious how this was for you to listen to.
I felt a reshift of energy towards productive ideas for doing some sort of action. When I gave this space for this despair, almost, I felt the muscles in my lower back relax, even the physical.
Wow.
So it was a very thought-out process that I appreciated, and it resonates deeply with what I am thinking.
Thank you. I'm really touched that what we were doing here, far away from you without seeing you, is still finding some truth that helps you at such a visceral cellular level. Is there anything else you want to say as a final word?
Excuse me, I didn't hear.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
He didn't hear you.
Oh, is there any last thing that you want to say before we close?
Well, I would like to say that now I feel a little bit more positive energy for talking with friends about this and talking with neighbors and researching more and understanding more, and I have all to thank my family and friends, and thank you for going through this process.
Thank you.
I'm also thinking that this despair part can have power over the wanting to do part as well. Like it made me nervous a little because I can imagine you like pulling her to bed unless you're heard.
Unless I'm heard.
Yes.
Yeah, once I was heard, I was like, okay, tell me what you want to say.
Yeah.
But if I wasn't heard, I'm like not open at all. Yeah.
Anything you want to say before we close this scenario?
I felt like once I stopped fighting this part and really opened up and listened, I felt like, oh yes, of course, we care about the same things. We don't have to waste this energy sort of fighting.
Yeah. And from over here, it was just very sweet to see how the connection was being built, and more things almost could be said by either of you.
Yeah.
As you were converging in some way.
The trick for me would be to remember to take that energy of having both of the sides be important when we're going to go have those conversations with other people as well.
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing that all of us have that struggle in us.
Yeah. There are those despair days.
Yeah. And you can't, I'm guessing going to be, use the same, welcome the despair to the other people too.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's almost like make room for another person's despair so that they can also feel that opening of energy. Yeah, be strong enough inside ourselves and confident that then we can be that kind of agent of change, make room for other people to grow.
Yeah. Great.
Okay.